So the next section actually has got a little bit of me talking for a second. So I just wanted to tell you, some of you last year joined in with us for a fundraiser. It was the first time the Cornwall and Isles of Scilly Dementia Partnership decided to raise some money. And I don't want to say anything against commissioners, but I think, you know, sometimes developing services, trying to develop new projects, we often have to go around with a sort of begging bowl, asking for money. And I was like, come on guys, let's try and see if we can raise some money to do our own thing. Let's try and see where we can get to as a group with friends and family. Let's see what we can do. So we developed an idea that we would do some walking last summer. The idea was that we'd have over 100 people to walk and commit to walking over the summer 100 miles. And that, if you get the maths correctly, I think, hopefully, should get you to 10,000. And that was really a mile walked in solidarity with all the people expected to be living in Cornwall with dementia. Now, I know many of you that signed up for the challenge. Some of you are here today, so can you raise your hand if you're one of our walkers? Yeah, there's quite a few of you. Thank you so much to everybody. And I'm pleased to say we raised near £14,000. Phenomenal. It was the first, possibly the last time I organised a fundraiser. I hadn't quite anticipated everybody's enthusiasm, and I then spent the following 3 weeks trying to get everybody joined in and onto a WhatsApp group. And then my husband sort of nearly divorced me because he said, if you spend another week on social media trying to advertise it, he said, you haven't done any walking yet. All you're doing is just trying to... I said, no, but I'm getting the team on board. I said, I'll start walking when we've got everybody. But it was fantastic. There are some fantastic photographs out there. So what were we trying to achieve with raising the money? Essentially, the primary project really was born out of a report called the Hear Our Voice report, which is a report that Health Watch Cornwall helped us with, and I think it was back 2022, I think I've got, or 23, 22, which collected the feedback from carers and people living with dementia. But essentially, as you've seen today, there's lots of services and support out there, but sometimes where does it come to in one place? So as we started walking, we've set on the challenge to try and develop a Cornwall and Isles of Scilly dementia website, where we can link through one website to all the different pieces of information and services. So that's where the fundraiser came from. We hope that there will be a little bit of extra money for other kind of projects. The main one is to get the website up and running. There are, as I said, some good photographs and videos. And you might know that there is actually one floating around somewhere of me dressed as a giant unicorn, which was unfortunately the hottest day of the year last year. And as Vicky will say, nobody wanted to borrow the suit afterwards because it was quite hot and sweaty. And my ward manager, it was at our hospital fete, we were going to walk around Launceston, but it was too hot. So we ended up doing laps around the fete with buckets. We collected quite a bit of money that day. I charge if anybody wants to see that photograph. You have to make a donation to the website, actually. But we did do one particular walk. There were lots of different group walks that went on, but one particularly was with the Wadebridge Memory Cafe, who welcomed a group of us and provided refreshments and sung us on our way. And I've got a little video that the comms team did. Bear with us, because it's very hard to be interviewed while walking. We all look a bit sort of hot and sticky, but if you could play the video for me. So we've set a challenge to get 100 people to walk 100 miles. You might be asking why 100 people 100 miles. Well, that makes 10,000, and that's just over the number of people living with dementia in Cornwall. So it's a mile in solidarity with each person. And we're fundraising this year for a website. We did a report with Health Watch in 2023, and lots of people with dementia and their carers fed back to us that it's really hard to find where services are, general information for Cornwall. And so we thought, where can we get all the information together and link all of the other websites and information for Cornwall in one place? So we're raising money to put together a special website for Cornwall. So it's really exciting. And then we're hoping, if we could smash our target, to also help some of our fantastic voluntary services in Cornwall.
Well, it's great that you're joining us today because we're celebrating our 17th anniversary. So we've been running from that time when we started with 2 helpers and 4 people, 2 living with memory loss and 2 carers, and we've grown into our group now, which on what would you say?
We get about 40 odd now, don't we? Each session. So it's really grown. And we do each time we meet, we think up different themes. So today we're actually looking at anniversaries.
We're doing different locations, and we've been really lucky because we've got fundraising from Australia, Portugal, and lots of our daughter's a doctor, and she's also got her friends from university are also sponsoring. So we're very lucky that we feel very supported.
So we're trying to raise money to get lots of support for services that are struggling with funding at the moment, as most things are. And we know there's lots of evidence to say these things really help people to live a good quality life, or the best they can with a horrible diagnosis like dementia.
Yeah, and I have a passion for dementia care. In our community hospitals, we have a lot of patients who are living with dementia. They have high enhanced care needs. They need a lot more support. It's important that we get that right. So they've got the right care at the right place at the right time. So raising this type of awareness helps us to be able to do that.
Just a massive thank you. And you saw there on the video the lovely Patrick. Now I have to say our top fundraisers were people living with dementia and their carers who raised a phenomenal, and they were our top sort of fundraisers, and we had several of our walkers that joined in were people living with dementia, and that was the lovely Patrick and his wife Nikki there, who I met recently actually at the garden centre, and Nikki's one of our Parkinson's nurses in county. A big shout out also to some of the others that took part, and I know there's lots of people here today actually. So it was a really heartfelt thing to do. I was joking when I said I wouldn't organise another fundraiser. I might after a rest, but it was the organising of it was almost harder than the walking actually. But it was fantastic. As I said, lots of kind of group walks, lots of people joining on. It was a chance to kind of connect. And I think I'd like to inspire us and challenge us as a partnership, and you lot as our friends and kind of family. Some of you have taken part in fundraising, but I think for future conferences I would like us to kind of feature some of our fundraisers and hear about the money that's kind of raised, because it is that money that's kind of raised, our volunteers that are making so much of a difference. And I will say that commissioners took part actually and did actually do the walking and do sponsorship, so that was nice. All of us kind of took part. But I'd like to welcome colleagues who are helping us. We have now moved on to the stage of starting to develop the website. It's early days, this is a big challenge. I've started to learn quite a lot about websites, and we've got a bit of a steering kind of group, and colleagues at Disability Cornwall are working with us to help us develop the website. I'd like to hand over to Susanna.
Thanks, Alison. So yes, I'm Susanna from Disability Cornwall, and we are building the website, not me personally, because I wouldn't have a clue, but it's really interesting to see how a website's come to life, to where it is now anyway. So I don't think I can be the only person that's searched something on Google before. You've gone on the most promising looking link, and then it's opened up and it's been hideous. Sometimes the text doesn't fill the screen and you have to, do that, zoom in. So you've come off, you haven't found the information you were looking for, and ultimately that kind of website's going to struggle to gain any real traction and have any long-term impact or sustainability. So we want to create the complete opposite. The website should be easy to navigate, visually accessible and thoughtfully designed, with simple layouts, clear language and intuitive user journeys that reduce confusion and frustration. So we know there's already some great information and resources online. We don't want to duplicate that, but we do want to fill in the gaps. So we went through a process of engaging with some professionals, the steering group, and some lived experience, some people with lived experience. And from that process, some of our key findings. So these were the answers that kept coming up. I can read from down here, it's easier. So it was immediate drop-off after diagnosis. People are unsure on who does what. Travel is a major barrier to support. There is confusion about the dementia pathway. People are unsure of what support exists. And professionals need a space to access shared resources. So we took all that as our kind of base, bare bones. And I'm going to hand over in a moment to Abby. And she's built a really fantastic wireframe. Now, what you're going to see, the text that's in it is not what's going to be there at the end. What we want to show you today is design, structure, and layout of the content, because we need to go around and gather everyone's information from all the great services out there. It's also a really good opportunity for us to get some final feedback, because once the website moves to the build stage, it becomes more difficult to make changes. So I did sneak around earlier and stick some QR codes on your tables. We also do have some hard copies of the form, and my colleague Dana over there has them. So if you do want one, just give her a wave. Over to you, Abby.
Cool, so thanks, Suze. So first of all, I'd just like to show everyone just a bit about the navigation, just so you're aware of what kind of content will be on the website. So obviously starting off the homepage, so that will hopefully direct people to the right places where they need to go around the website. And then the first major area is the support for you section. So under the find local support, that was where our directory will live. So that's where people will be able to search to find the services they need. And then we've got dedicated pages as well underneath that for people with young onset dementia, for families and carers, and a space for professionals as well. And the next major area was the Your Dementia Journey area. So we've kind of mimicked the dementia pathway here. So we've got preventing dementia, getting diagnosed, and then the early, middle and late stage pages have all the information about living well and dying well and supporting well, all the relevant information in for those stages. So this is an overview of the directory. So as you can see, you've got the search bar there where you can search by category, keyword, and there's a space there to put your postcode. So there'll be a geolocation option there, so people can use their location, so they don't have to rely on remembering their postcode to find support near them. There's an option there underneath where services can request to add their listing to the website, because we thought that was really important, because services are always coming up, so it needs a dedicated way to add them onto the website, and that will be monitored by us. So we'll review them, reach out if we need more information, and then add them to our directory. So underneath that, people can also click on the different categories, so that will show all the support by category. Under that, the top rated support panel. So one of our findings was there's a lot of really valuable services, but they're quite under-recognised. So this is just really a place to showcase those. Then under that, the explore bar, where people can explore via the map. And then a section for feedback. So we've got feedback forms embedded into every page, just so we know that we've built a good website. So as you click on a result or search for something, it'll take you to the results page. So as you can see, if you haven't already searched by your postcode, you get another opportunity to filter the results by there, and they'll come up showing you the ones that are closest to you first. And then as you go down, it'll have the results on the left-hand side and then the map on the right-hand side. So we've paginated these results, so a maximum of 4 per page, just to reduce the cognitive overwhelm. And access to transport was a key barrier. So we've made sure we've got one of these call to actions on every page related to the services, just where people can click through and find community transport. This is a mock-up of what each service page will look like. So it's got the key information there, profile, and then on the right-hand side, key information area, and that will float down as you go down the page, so that's always visible for the web user. And again, enter your postcode with the geolocation, and they can get directions that will go straight onto Google Maps. And then if they get to the end of the page and they think, oh, that's not quite what I'm looking for, then they've got the related services bar at the bottom to hopefully point them in the right direction. Then we're just moving on to your dementia journey. So the first thing was going over the key people in your journey, the professions and what they do, how they can support you. And then these are links to the related stage pages, so people can go and find more information on those pages. This is a little navigational bar to help people if they're not sure where to start. Hopefully then this will point them in the right direction. FAQs at the bottom, because people have a lot of frequently asked questions, so this is a really good place to have them. And then we couldn't show you all of the stage pages, so this is just an example for early stage dementia. So just starting off by a little overview of what early stage dementia is, and a link to the Alzheimer's Society, because they've got a lot of information on their website about the stages. And then this is a little accordion feature underneath, just to show some common signs and symptoms of early stage dementia. Then again, going over the key people in this stage, how they can help. And then this is the living well with early stage dementia section. So these are tangible actions that people can take to help them live well with early stage dementia. There's a section here for the young onset considerations, alongside links that will take them to further information. Again, a recommended support bar, so this will be filtered, so show the recommended support for this stage. Useful links, so again, there's a lot of information out there, so these will just be useful links that we can signpost people to. Underneath that, signs your dementia may have progressed. So this is just just a way for people to know that they might need to reach out for support or navigate to the next page to find out what they can do next. I think I've got to wrap it up now, but thank you all for listening. We would really, really love some feedback. So we've got the QR codes on the table. Also, if you'd like a paper copy, if you would be able to put your hand up, thank you. And Dana, our colleague, will come and bring paper copies to anyone who needs them. But yeah, thank you.